Hello and welcome once again to the hard Brexit scenario on Football Manager 2020, where the UK has left UEFA and left to fend for itself by creating its own Champions League and stuff like that. So on this edition, we've got a few things to catch up on. The transfer window ended. We'll have a quick look to see what the big deal was there. I believe it was... what was it? If I just go to the country and check the transfers there, hopefully it should show what the big signings were. Loan. Let's go to January. Other end. There you go. The big transfer was 82 million paid by Chelsea for Yannick Carrasco. Man City bought Max Aarons from Norwich for 80 million. Ziyech went to Man U for 59 million. Brighton paid 56 million for a Stoke player. Chelsea also paid 55. There was a lot of money going around. Arsenal signed Isco for 54 million. City, United. The big sides were spending the big money. Liverpool bought someone from Salzburg. And Southend paying 30.5 million for Scott Wharton from Blackburn. That's quite a deal. And yeah, other teams spending big. Portsmouth there at the top. Scunthorpe, Tottenham, Ipswich spending 23.5 million. Birmingham getting on the act. Stevenage 22.5 million for Jack Tucker. Brighton have been spending big, looking like they want to try and retain. Dejan Lovren left Liverpool, so that's a great deal for Liverpool. Possibly, maybe in the olden days. I don't know if he might have improved these days. And yeah, so there's a lot of money going around. Pause if you want to take a proper look. I'll go scroll down to when we get to under a million. There we go. So there's a fair bit of money going round. There was also, I think there was one in December because the transfer window opened a little bit. That's right. Chelsea spent 138 million on Kai Havertz from Bayer Leverkusen. So the money's been going. You can only see there's only a little bit there. So because it was only open for a few days in December. Now we're going to focus on the UK today. We're not going to. Oh, well, we'll have a look at Europe, actually. We'll have a look at Europe first, the Champions League. We can see that we've only just started the second rounds. Barcelona beat Hoffenheim. Real Madrid beat Ajax. PSG and Juventus drew 1-1. There's, results one game in, because we've only just got to the start of the European competition, unlike in the UK, where they started a little earlier in February. So let's go and have a look and see what's happened in the Brexit Champions League. So we've actually had 2 rounds of competition already. Let's take a look here. Motherwell knocked out Blackburn. Swansea beat Oxford. Aberdeen beat Colchester. Brighton beat Lincoln. Spurs beat Rangers. Norwich beat Stoke. Man U knocked out Southampton. Leeds knocked out Crewe. Bristol City beat Bournemouth, which is a bit of a shock. Newcastle knocked out Derby on penalties. Leicester beat Wolves. Watford beat St Johnstone. Shrewsbury knocked out Luton. So impressively, Shrewsbury are into the third round. Liverpool beat Reading. Nottingham Forest beat Ipswich. And Hibs beat Cardiff. And then in the third round, we can see another one. Bristol City making it to the quarterfinals, beating Motherwell. Leeds knocked out Leicester. Another bit of a shock there. Man U beat Nottingham Forest. Aberdeen beat Shrewsbury. Watford knocked out Spurs, which is an impressive result, which means possibly that Watford have been loading up on them transfers since they got the big money. Liverpool beat Brighton. Hibs beat Swansea, and Newcastle knocked out Norwich. So that leaves us with a quarter-final draw of Newcastle v Liverpool, Hibernian v Aberdeen, Leeds versus Manchester United, and Watford versus Bristol City. So some of the big teams have dropped out there, and we can see that I can imagine the final will be Liverpool versus Man U unless they get drawn in the semi-finals together. What about in the Empire League, though? What's happening there? We're at the same stage, and I'm pressing the wrong buttons. We can see that in the in the second round, Mansfield beat St Mirren, Cambridge beat Macclesfield, Sunderland knocked out Scunthorpe, Arsenal got an easy win over Ebbsfleet United, Burnley knocked out TNS, MK Dons beat Exeter on away goals. Aston Villa beat Alloa Athletic, so no massive run for Alloa Athletic this year. Unlucky guys, maybe next year. Inverness Caledonian Thistle beat Dundee United. Burton Albion beat Stranraer. Manchester City got an easy win like Arsenal did against Hamilton Academical. Celtic beat Forest Green. Portsmouth beat Rafe Rovers. Southend knocked out Crawley on away goals, while Huddersfield beat Chesterfield. Everton beat Hearts, a big win there for Everton, 5-0 away, or I think they might have been home in the second leg, not sure how it works there, and Stevenage beat the only Northern Irish side to make it through Larne, while in the third round, we could see Aston Villa beat Southend, Man City beat Inverness Caledonian Thistle, Arsenal beat Mansfield, so those are three of the bigger teams through already, Stevenage beat Burton, Huddersfield knocked out Celtic, which probably is pretty poor for Celtic if you ask me, but then Huddersfield get more money than Celtic do for winning their league, or for coming second in their league. Burnley knocked out Portsmouth, Everton beat Cambridge, and Sunderland were beaten by MK Dons. So the quarterfinal draw in the Empire League goes as follows: Arsenal versus Aston Villa, Burnley versus MK Dons, Stevenage v Everton, Manchester City v Huddersfield. And if I was to hazard a guess for what the final will be, Arsenal v Man City, unless they get drawn against each other in the semi-finals. We will look at the Cup Winners' Cup later on. It's just it hasn't actually finished. If we take a look at it now, we can see that we're on the semi-finals, and it's pretty straightforward who I think will go through to the final. But what we'll do is we'll get to the end, and then we'll skip a few days and watch the goals in the final, just to see how it goes. Just to advise how the group stage went, Celtic came top of Group A, getting through ahead of three Caribbean teams. While in Group B, Manchester City came top in a group that had Europa of Gibraltar, Hereford and Sark from the Channel Islands. And Group C had Swansea and Ballymena United go through ahead of Sugar Boys and SWA Sharks, both from the Caribbean. But yes, we can see the semi-final draw, and we'll skip forward later to see how that went. What we'll do now is give Scotland and Wales a chance. We'll go Wales first, and we'll have a look at how their top divisions are going currently. A quick flick through. Wrexham seemingly easily winning in the Clwyd Premier. They're quite far ahead, mainly because they've not drawn any games, but Ruffin have drawn 6 of them. They have lost one game though, Wrexham, against Ruffin, so they're putting up a bit of a fight, but not enough to make a difference, it seems. In Dyfed, Abereron, I'm guessing is how you pronounce it, are quite a lot clear of Pinnincoch, and they're coming out of nowhere, because I don't remember them being anywhere near the top in the last season. So if I don't think I can actually click on last season, because it's where the stop button is for the recording. But yeah, that's not bad for them. Llanelli and Ammanford and Haverfordwest were the teams challenging Pinnincoch last season. So well done to Abereron. For putting up the fight that they are. In Gwent, Newport County, 22 wins out of 22. That's pretty straightforward for them. Cumbrae Celtic in second, Undy in third. In Gwynedd, Bangor City are top of the league. They are 5 points clear of Bala. And they've got a game in hand too, so I imagine Bangor City probably favourites to win that now with not too long left to go. In Mid Glamorgan, Merthyr Town top 10 points clear of Pennybont, and they also have a game in hand, so again another one that's probably favourites to win it by now with not too long left of the season. Powys Newtown are top. They are 13 points clear of Clanreda in second, so at this point I'm starting to think that most of the Welsh League Welsh divisions are decided. South Glamorgan, that one was decided ages ago. It's just a formality of waiting for it to be mathematically impossible for Barry Town to catch Cardiff. Cardiff with a 100% record and 75 points, 85 goals scored, and still yet to concede in the league this season. No massive results though, all 4-5s at the most from the looks of things. In West Glamorgan, it's the same story. It's just Swansea have 8 games in hand apparently. They're unbeaten, but because they have 8 games in hand on Port Talbot, they are in second place, but only by 3 points. So if they win one of those games in hand, they will probably catch up with Port Talbot there. And in the if we quickly scroll through these. Pause if you want to see how these leagues are going, if you've got a local team or a vested interest maybe. Who knows? I'll stop if I see anyone that's already promoted. But at the moment, it just seems like teams that are definitely in the playoffs. The Welsh Cup semi-finals, if we have a look and see how the quarterfinals went. Wrexham, the biggest team, knocked out there, but they were knocked out by Cardiff. You can see that the semi-finals sees Merthyr Town v Newport County and Swansea v Cardiff. So 3 of the biggest teams in the 3 English League teams in Wales, and one of the stronger teams from outside, who are also actually in the English League system. So it's a straightforward one there. In the League Cups, we can see the semi-final draws there. Wrexham, I'd say they've probably got a good chance of winning the Clwyd League Cup in Dyfed. The top 2 are in one semi-final, and 2 of the teams that aren't really fancied in the league are in the other semi-final. Gwent, Newport County are playing PILCS, which stands for PI. Doesn't tell us. And the winner of that match will play Panteg or Undy in the final. While in Gwynedd, we can see Bangor City, Carnarvon, Portmaddock and Holyhead in the semi-finals. Mid Glamorgan, Merthyr Town, unsurprisingly, they're playing second place Pennybont for a place in the final. While in Powys, it's all to play for. Clanbreda are the biggest team in there, but they're second. The top team in the league are not there yet. I say they're out. In South Glamorgan, Cardiff play Cardiff Airport, and if they win that, they could be playing Cardiff Met University or Barry Town. And in West Glamorgan, it's battle of the top 2 there, as Swansea play Port Talbot in the semi-finals to play Porthcawl or Neath in the final. Over to Scotland, and let's see how those leagues are doing. We have not too long left of the season. In Angus, we can see Dundee are top on goal difference ahead of Dundee United, but they do have they do have a game in hand and are only top on goal difference. So who knows how that will end? Arbroath aren't too far behind them either. In Ayrshire, Kilmarnock top by 3 points ahead of Ayr United. It's a close one. It's much closer than in Wales. We've already 2 divisions in, and it's already way closer than in Wales. But that's because there's a lot more. The teams in Scotland, there's a lot more of the bigger ones there. In Central Scotland, Falkirk, they possibly might be a bit more guaranteed, but while they are 7 points clear, Alloa Athletic, who are in second, have 2 games in hand, probably because of that decent performance in the Empire League. But that's not on anymore, and they've got a chance to catch up and will be only 1 point behind if they win those 2 games in hand. In Dumfries and Galloway, Stranraer are top by a single point, but Queen of the South in second have a game in hand and can overtake them with a win there. In the Fife Premiership, Dunfermline are top by 3 points ahead of Raith Rovers. Also, they've got a game in hand too, so they can extend the lead. In Glasgow, this is the big one in my eyes anyway, and still Rangers and Celtic have not caught up with fixtures. It's the same as last season. However, for Rangers, I don't know if it's going to go the same way, because they've lost both their games against Celtic. And so I think it might be Celtic's title to lose now. Despite them being 5th at the moment, they do have 9 games in hand over top of the table Partick Thistle. It's all over the place how many games the teams have played in that division. Probably because half of them are still waiting to play Rangers and Celtic. If it's anything like the end of last season, they'll be playing all their games in the last 3 weeks of the season. Grampian, Peterhead top with 88. Elgin in second on 77, Aberdeen in third with 76, but Aberdeen, most importantly, have quite a few games in hand. They've got 7 games in hand, I think. 7 or 8 games, no, 7 games in hand over Elgin and Peterhead, so we'll probably catch them up after a while. In the Highlands and Islands, Inverness Caledonian and Thistle are top with 87 points, with Ross County in second on 84. Ross County have a game in hand and could overtake them with a win because they've got a better goal difference. While in Lanarkshire, Hamilton Academicals are leading by 3 points ahead of Airdrie and have 3 games in hand, so can extend that lead with some wins. But Motherwell in third place have even more games in hand and are not that far behind either, so I imagine Motherwell will overtake them at some point. In Lothian, the top 2, Hearts and Hibs, the expected 2 to be top. Hibs have 2 games in hand, but even if they win those games in hand, they will not be top because Hearts have a 100% record Hibs do not, after a 1-0 loss to Hearts, but they do still have to play each other again. Perthshire. St Johnstone once again have won it early. They are quite a few points clear. They are 23 points clear to be exact, ahead of Kinnoul in second, and they don't have many games left to play, I don't think. If we were to just see how many games are left to play, well, there's still a few. Not too many, but still a few. Don't go too far. In Renfrewshire, St Mirren and Greenock Morton have confirmed their places in the end of season playoffs. Clydebank probably will join them, and Renfrew will possibly join them too. They've got a 5-point lead over Bank United in 5th. In the Scottish Borders, finally, the probably the lowest of the Scottish top divisions, the lowest ranked, Gala Ferrydean Rovers are topped by 4 points. So nothing is guaranteed yet. The reigning champs, Vale of Leven, could catch them up in the last few games of the season. Again, pause if you want to see any of the lower tiers. We'll pause it I will stop and have a look if any of them have been promoted, but that's all, unfortunately. In the Scottish Cup, we'll have a quick look at what happened in the quarterfinals there. Aberdeen beat Dunfermline, Ross County beat Hibs, Celtic beat Alloa Athletic, and Rangers beat St Mirren. So it's 3 of the usual suspects, I would say, in the semi-finals, but we do have an old firm derby in the semi-finals. So either Rangers or Celtic will be in the final. Celtic could be retaining their crown. The winners of that plays Aberdeen or Ross County in the League Cups. We can see some of the draws. Dundee United final, probably going to happen in the Angus League Cup. While in Ayrshire, it's probably going to be Ayr v Kilmarnock in the final. Central Scotland, we can see there. Dumfries and Galloway. 3 of the bigger teams are in that final, or in the semi-finals there. Kelty Hearts, once again, strutting their stuff in the Fife League Cup. They're in the semis against East Fife. The winner plays Dunfermline or Raith Rovers. While in Glasgow, Celtic Rangers aren't there, so I'm guessing Rangers played Celtic earlier in the tournament. Would I be right in thinking that? Yep, in the quarterfinals, Celtic knocked out Rangers, which means they've probably got smooth sailing to win it, unless Partick Thistle have anything to say about the matter. In Grampian, Aberdeen are not... Oh no, I've skipped them. My apologies, I was about to say. Yes, they are there. Cove Rangers v Fraserburgh, Sheriff United v Aberdeen in the semi-finals there. In the Highlands and Islands, Ross County probably have smooth sailing there, as Inverness, Caledonia and Thistle are nowhere to be seen. Lanarkshire, Hamilton v Motherwell, the winner of that plays Airdrie or EK Thistle. While in Lothian, it's looking like a Hibs v Hearts final unless Livingston can have their say against Hearts. Perthshire, we've already got the final decided there. It's Scone Thistle versus St Johnstone. And then in Renfrewshire, they also have already had their semi-finals. Morton will play St Mirren. It's the 2 best sides in Renfrewshire playing each other in the final. While in the Scottish Borders League Cup, we've not actually finished the group stage, and it's all to play for, as the 2 final games of the group stage sees the top 2 teams in each group, and both of those have joint on points. So it could go down to goal difference, or it could, I don't know how it could go down to bloody alphabetical order from the looks of things, because they both got very similar. It's probably going to go down to goals scored if we have draws. And Tunnock's Caramel Wafer Challenge Cup, it's the quarterfinals there. If you have a vested interest in any of those teams, enjoy. Preston Athletic looking to retain their crown. Over to England now. And we'll flick through these. The 40 top divisions. Luton, top of the Bedfordshire League by 14 points. So I'd say that one's pretty sewn up, although Barton Rovers do have 2 games in hand. Berkshire, Reading atop, quite clear of Maidenhead, and there's no games in hand there, so Reading, I imagine, will probably win that one. Bristol and Gloucestershire, Bristol City only 3 points clear of City rivals Bristol Rovers, with Forest Green a distant 3rd. In Buckinghamshire, Wycombe Wanderers are top on goal difference. They've got the same points as MK Dons. There's only 1 goal in it, and more importantly, MK Dons have a game in hand, and Wycombe have lost a game to MK Dons. I imagine that game, and I think, have they played each other twice now? I don't know. I don't think they have. So Wycombe have a chance to avenge them and try and even it out. In Cambridgeshire, And we have Peterborough top of the league by 6 points ahead of Cambridge United. 100% record for Peterborough. I imagine they're going to win that league. While in Cheshire, Crewe Alexandra are 4 points clear at the top, ahead of Macclesfield, looking to retain their crown, but it's not over yet. There's still a few games left to play. Not too many, though, because I think they only play 33 games, so there's about 8 games left of the season. In Cornwall, Truro. Last time round, they weren't too many points ahead. Now they're fairly clear. So Truro, I think, will be retaining the Cornwall Premier Division title. Bodmin in second on 46, with Falmouth in third on 46 as well. Cumbria, Carlisle, 3 points clear of Barrow now, but Barrow have a game in hand and a better goal difference. This could go right down to the wire in Cumbria. In Derbyshire, Derby top of league by 12 points. Chesterfield in second, but I don't think they're going to catch Derby. Devon, Plymouth are top. They are quite clear at the top. 9 points clear at the top to be exact. No games in hand. So Plymouth, they bought well with the money they got last season, and it looks likely it's going to pay off. Tiverton have regained their crown as best of the rest, it seems, in 4th place. So well done to them, and fairly good. 11 points or 12 points clear of the rest. Although Buckland in 5th do have 4 games in hand. In the Dorset Premier Division, Bournemouth 100% record, 11 points clear. I'd say that one's sewn up. Durham, Hartlepool 8 points. No, it's 6 points clear. What am I doing? Saying my maths apparently is terrible. Hartlepool 6 points clear of Stockton in second, with Spennymoor also on 71 points as well. Darlington behind them by 3 points, but it's going to be Hartlepool or Stockton and Spennymoor if they can pull off a miracle. In Essex, Southend 4 points clear of Colchester. So it's going to be between those two, but I think it's Southend's to lose now, and Colchester could be losing their crown. Greater London, this is where it gets interesting. Chelsea are 9 points clear at the top of the table. Arsenal in second, and then Tottenham a point behind Arsenal in third. Charlton, impressively, still keeping up in 4th place, with Fulham 5th, West Ham 6th, and Palace down in 10th. The second lowest of the real life league sides. Well, apart from Leyton Orient, down there and still in relegation. Met Police still only on 5 points. It's not going to happen for them, I don't think. Not mathematically relegated yet, but I'd say it's going to happen. Over in Greater Manchester, they've swapped places once again, because Manchester City have drawn a couple of matches against Oldham and Rochdale, so they've lost their 100% record. Manchester United have kept up all their other wins apart from that one loss against Manchester City, so it's going to go down to the wire in Greater Manchester as well. In Hampshire and the Isle of Wight, Southampton top by 5 points ahead of Portsmouth, Eastleigh in a distant third, while in Herefordshire, Hereford have sewn it up oh so quickly. 20 wins out of 20, a better record than last season. They are 32 points clear at the top. There's no way of Westfield's chasing them. All it is now is Westfield's need to try and cement their second place in order to keep playing Empire League football. But still, Ulyas Harold are still going to be in the money, I'd say, because, what was it? 25 million for 4th place. That's not bad for Ulyas Harold, whoever they are. In Hertfordshire, Watford are top, Stevenage second, but there is a difference of 9 points between those two teams, so Watford probably going to win that one. Kent, only 2 points separate Gillingham and Ebbsfleet. Gillingham do have a game in hand, so we'll probably extend that lead, but it's still not over, as they would say in Lancashire. Burnley have, I'd say they're going to get their revenge for last season. Blackburn are 7 points behind them. Burnley is still unbeaten though, and probably unlikely going to be caught. Fleetwood in 3rd place, but they are 11 points behind Blackburn, so they're going to have to try hard if they want to take the Empire League spot. In Leicestershire and Rutland, Leicester top, 26 games, 26 wins. 85 goals. It's been a vintage season for Leicester. Barwell trying to stake the claim of second place, although Loughborough University also on the same points, looking to take that second spot. Lincoln are top by 3 points ahead of Scunthorpe, but Scunthorpe do have a game in hand and can catch them, although the goal difference is in Lincoln's favour. Merseyside, well, that one was obvious. Liverpool top, 100% record. Again, 4-0, 5-0, 3-0, 4-0. It's pretty straightforward for them. They haven't played Everton for a second time yet, but I don't even think they need to. Everton, there's quite a gap, and Liverpool have an amazing goal difference in comparison. Although Everton's ain't too bad. An 8-0 win over Pilkington probably did help that. Norfolk, Norwich, top, 100% record, 10 points clear. That one is pretty much done and dusted. Northampton are top of the Northamptonshire League and by 18 points. Sileby Rangers in second, ahead of Brackley, who are in third. 1 point divides those two, but or separates those two to be more precise. So one of those two will probably be heading to the Empire League, although AFC Russian Diamonds also have a say in the matter. Northumberland, Morpeth are still top, 5 points clear now. The gap has shortened, and Tweedmouth have a game in hand. Could Tweedmouth catch up Morpeth and retain the Northumberland Premier Division crown? Nottinghamshire, we have Nottingham Forest top, 100% record, so I imagine they're probably going to retain it. Notts County are 7 points behind. Could they catch up? Oxford United are top and have 93 points already, but Oxford City and Thame United are not that far behind, only 8 points behind, and the season is not over yet. They have 7 games each left to play, although Oxford do have 2 games in hand over them. So I imagine Oxford are probably going to win the title there. Shropshire, this one was close last time round, but AFC Telford and TNS have fallen off the pace, and Shrewsbury have surged ahead with a 7-point lead. Telford and TNS are on 61 points each, but both have a game in hand also. Can they catch the Shrews? In Somerset, Yeovil are top. They've extended their lead to 14 points, I believe. Yes, that's right. Ahead of Bath City. Bath now more have to worry about Weston-super-Mare catching them to take second spot. In Staffordshire, this was close last year. It's not as close this year. Stoke are top with 94 points. They've only dropped 2 points all season, while Burton are in second on 86. There's a 8-point gap between them now, which is 8 points more than it was last season. Port Vale are only 2 points behind Burton in third as well, so we could see a different team enter the Empire League this time. In Suffolk, Ipswich, top, 91 points. They haven't got a 100% record, but it's close enough. Second are quite a distant behind. Surrey, this one's Woking's to lose again. They are 13 points clear, so I imagine they're not going to. Dorking are best of the rest and by a clear margin. In Sussex, Brighton, they bought well in January, and I don't know if it's made that much of a difference because it's still the same 2 teams that are battling out at the top there, Crawley and Brighton. Brighton lead the way by 1 point because of the 6-0 win they had over Crawley earlier in the season. 6-0, blimey. Probably did not do their goal difference well, I imagine, that one. Tyne Wear, Newcastle, 100% record, 82 goals scored. I'd say that is an obvious one for Newcastle to win. Sunderland, however, they have several games in hand and could catch Newcastle if Newcastle drop some points. Let's see. Probably not, though. Best Sunderland, I imagine, will do is overtake Gateshead. In Warwickshire, oh dear, Nuneaton. Stratford are still top, and they're top by 10 points. Nuneaton, you've got a game in hand, but I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference over when you to try and take over Stratford. Stratford getting that win over Nuneaton, it's like the bane of their existence right now. Nuneaton, Stratford, you're the bane of Nuneaton's existence. In the West Midlands, 4 points clear. Wolves are top. Second, West Brom. Third, Aston Villa. Fourth, Birmingham. Fifth, Coventry. It's quite close other than that. And then Walsall in sixth, who are 6 points behind Coventry. If we go to Wiltshire, Swindon top by 4 points. They have drawn 3 games, which is different to last season. Draws with Laverstock and Ford, Salisbury and Melksham. So could Salisbury and Swindon Supermarine be able to overtake them by the end of the season? Probably not, because Swindon will need to lose at least one of those matches, I imagine. In Worcestershire, Kidderminster are 11 points clear, so that one is sewn up pretty much. Yorkshire, finally, and this one is close at the top. Leeds, Sheffield United and Huddersfield, 1, 2, 3, and their points are 78, 77, 76. No games in hand, it's all very close. Then 4th, 5th, 6th is Hull, Sheffield Wednesday, Barnsley, and their points are 63, 62 and 62. So it's all close for 4th, 5th and 6th. 7th, 8th and 9th, all on 54 points. Middlesbrough, Bradford and Doncaster. It is quite the season in Yorkshire. So who knows where that's going. If we have a quick flick through some of the lower leagues, again I'll stop if I see some promotion. And there's one, no, not one. I thought Bromley had been, but no, they're not yet. They are fairly close to it though, I'd say. In Greater Manchester, and then more, we can see no one is promoted. Oh no, we have one. Hever St John's have won the Leicestershire and Rutland Championship, so well done to them. I think they got relegated last season, so they're going back up into the Leicestershire Premier League. Retford have won the Nottinghamshire Championship, so they will be in the Premier Division next season. And where else are we going? Nowhere else. No one else has won theirs. We can see here the quarter-final draw for the FA Cup. Let's see what happened in the 7th round. Well, half of it hasn't been done yet. But the ones that have been done, Aston Villa beat Mansfield, Brighton beat Northampton, Burnley beat Blackburn, and Chelsea beat Southampton in the quarter-final draw. Burnley will play Liverpool and Newcastle. Aston Villa will play Leeds or Norwich. Chelsea are going to be away to Nottingham Forest or Everton, and Brighton will play Arsenal or Burton Albion. And if we go to Bedfordshire, the League Cups, Bedfordshire, we can see there Luton's to lose, Berkshire, Reading's to lose as well there. Bristol and Gloucestershire. It may be a Bristol City derby between Bristol Rovers and Bristol City in the final. Buckinghamshire, I think we already knew the final of that one. MK Dons Wickham, it's the 2 best teams in the league playing each other. Cambridgeshire, Cambridge v Peterborough in the semi-finals, so one of the bigger teams there will go out. Crewe and Macclesfield, I imagine they'll be playing in the final unless there's some penalty shootout wins from Witton or Congleton. In Cornwall, Truro will play Bodmin in the final, while in Cumbria, Carlisle will play Whitehaven. So a new winner of that one because Barrow won it last time round. Derbyshire, Derby will be in the final. They've beaten Gresley in the semis. They'll be playing Ilkeston or Alfreton. While in Devon, Plymouth have won their semi-final against Tiverton. They'll be playing Torquay or Exeter. Bournemouth will be playing Gillingham Town in the Dorset League Cup final, while in Durham we can see the semi-final draw there. None of the 2 bigger teams, Darlington and Hartlepool, have already been eliminated, it seems, so a different team will be winning that one as well. In Essex, it's Colchester v Billericay and Southend v Canvey Island, while in Greater London, Tottenham v Chelsea, Charlton v Arsenal. The top 4 all playing each other in the semi-finals of the Greater London League Cup. In Greater Manchester United, Stockport. I think Manchester United beat Man City like in the 2nd round of the competition, which meant it was probably plain sailing for Manchester United to this round at least, and they'll be. I imagine they'll beat Stockport and then beat Oldham or Rochdale in the final. In Hampshire and the Isle of Wight, we see Portsmouth, Southampton in the semis. So one of the biggest teams in Hampshire and the Isle of Wight will be going out. In Hertfordshire, Watford versus probably Stevenage in the final, I'd say, but Stevenage have 2 teams they have to beat first, Hemel Hempstead and then St Albans. In Kent, we can see there the top 2 are playing each other, Gillingham and Ebbsfleet, while in Lancashire, Fleetwood v Burnley, Accrington v Blackpool, 4 of the bigger teams in Lancashire all playing each other in the semi-finals. In Leicestershire and Rutland, Leicester play Colville and then will probably beat the other team in the final, while in Lincolnshire it's the 3 biggest teams in Lincolnshire, Lincoln and Scunthorpe and Grimsby are all there. Lincoln play Scunthorpe while Grimsby are against Gainsborough Trinity. Merseyside, Liverpool or Everton will play Tranmere in the final. Who knows, because that one could go either way. Knockout football, you never know what's going to happen. In Norfolk, Kings Lynn will play Durham or Norwich City in the final. On Northamptonshire, Northampton are in there. They play Daventry. They'll play the winner of AFC Rushden Diamonds or Desborough. While in Nottinghamshire, Nottingham Forest v Notts County, the 2 neighbours playing each other. The winners will be against Carlton or Mansfield in the final. And Oxfordshire, Oxford are there. They'll probably beat Didcot and play the team who wins out of the second versus third match. While in Shropshire, TNS are in the final. They'll be playing Shrewsbury Town or Ellesmere. While in Somerset, no Yeovil Town. The holders are out. So instead we'll see Poulton, Bishop's Lyddard, Taunton or Weston-super-Mare winning that one. In Staffordshire, Stoke and Burton are in the semi-finals, and respectively, I imagine they'll win them and play each other in the final. While in Suffolk, Ipswich play Lowestoft to decide the right to play Woodbridge or AFC Sudbury in the final. Oh, skipped Surrey there. Let's go back to Surrey. Woking play Whiteleaf away, while Merstham are away at Ashford, Middlesex. So that will decide the final there. In Sussex, Brighton will probably win that one. There's no Crawley Town, and the rest of the teams are not in the shout of the league. So I imagine Brighton will probably steamroller the other three, whoever they'll be. Newcastle play Sunderland RCA, a different Sunderland than they normally play, and that will put them in the final if they win that against North Shields or Whitley Bay. While in Warwickshire, the final is decided. It will be Leamington v Stratford. Stratford got that win and frustrated Nuneaton Borough some more. They are the bane of Nuneaton's existence. In the West Midlands, the semi-finals are Birmingham v Rushall and Coventry v Wolves. A decent semi-final lineup there. In Wiltshire, Swindon are out. The holders are out, so we've got Salisbury v Chippenham, Swindon Supermarine v Melksham. Who knows who's going to win that one? Worcestershire League Cup, Kidderminster will play Alvechurch in the final, while in Yorkshire, the semi-finals, it's a strong semi-final. Sheffield United v Hull City, Huddersfield Town v Leeds. We have the top three and Hull City in the semi-finals there. And in the Leasing.com trophy, well, it's all to play for there. We're still in the fifth round. But to see the favourites, I would say, would be Hereford, Morpeth maybe, FC United, Hyde, the teams that went down from last season. Tweedmouth are there still, Pegasus Juniors, Bromley, Scarborough Athletic. Any of those teams could win this, or maybe one of the other ones. Uxbridge are there, Dulwich Hamlet, who knows? The lowest ranked side still in the competition. There's three of them, four I think I can see there. AFC Hayes from League One, New Milton from League One, Erith and Belvedere, and Hanwell. Those are all from League One. They're still in it. Hello again. Sorry about that unfortunate cut. I was going to explain that I'm going to quickly cut to the end of the Cup Winners' Cup just so we can see what happened, but the mouse is very sensitive and it stopped it before I could say it. Anyway, having a look now at the semi-finals, you can see one surprising result. Not that top one, Man City beating Celtic, that's not a shock, but Ballymena United beat Swansea City 1-0 in the semi-finals, which led us to the final, and we'll go via this bit. We can see the spoiler there. We'll see a 20-minute winner for Ballymena to win that in the Celtic game. Quite close, but a Gabriel Jesus goal just after half-time won it for them after it was 2-2 at half-time. But we see the final. Man City won 3-0 over Ballymena United, and what we'll do is we'll have a look at the goals just to treat you for waiting. Please note, I had to wait 3 weeks for them to finally play the final, which was long. So here's the goals. You can see the squads there. A few new signings. Max Aarons is playing. Phil Foden's getting a shot. Rogers up front. We can see in the game here, it was just after half-time when the goal scoring finally started. Sterling putting the ball in and Sane tapping it in from close range to give them lead on 48 minutes. But Man City did not stop there. On 57 minutes, Max Aarons running the ball in. He got stopped, but the ball fell kindly to Phil Foden, who blasted it past Glenn Denning to make it 2-0 to Man City. And then it wasn't over, because on 71 minutes, Foden passed it to Sane, who passed it back, and then Foden smashed it in once again. Well, I didn't say he actually placed it in, didn't he? He didn't smash it in. 3-0 to Manchester City, and that was the final score. Ballymena put up a good fight, as you can see from all the bookings there, but the final score 3-0. Manchester City are the Cup winners, and we can see there, historically, they have retained their crown, but they won't be able to do it again because in the FA Cup, if I remember rightly, they were eliminated. I'll just have a quick look. Yes, they are not in this round. Spoiler alert there. Sorry, we had to go back quite a bit. So there you have it. I'll stop it there because we're quite far ahead. So what I'm going to do next is skip it to a week or so into May, and we will look and see who won all the leagues. And just like last time, we'll do it in 2 parts. So all the league winners, we'll go through all of them. We'll give some respect to all of the Caribbean nations as well. We can find out who won all their leagues. And then we will skip until the end of May, start of June, and find out who won all the cups, including all the goals from the Brexit Champions League final, whoever is in that final. We'll also see who won the European competitions as well. So until then, why not you like and subscribe and rock on.